Violence among rival gangs in the metro has a lot of people concerned for their safety.
Tonight, Contact 7 investigative reporter Jace Larson is tagging along with Aurora Police's gang unit about what they typically see on the streets and how they are cracking down on crime to keep people safe.
It is all hands on deck. SWAT and gang officers with long guns and Aurora Police Department's armored vehicle.
Today we're serving 3 active search warrants.
The members of the gang unit offered to show me life on our metro streets. Today they're targeting a small apartment complex at 16th and Clinton where neighbors have complained.
They reported drug dealing, shootings, fights.
Target secure.
Just a week before, gunfire here.
The last 2 tenants that lived there were moved out because they were intimidated and scared by this crowd.
The gang officers have been watching this place undercover.
What we've been seeing on our surveillance all morning is behavior that's consistent with illegal distribution of narcotics. The 3 are secure right now.
After SWAT and gang officers moved in, they found people with warrants and felons that weren't supposed to have guns.
I'm Sergeant Rossi with the Aurora Gang Unit.
Fighting crime tied to gangs is a full-time battle for the man who leads Aurora's 6 gang officers.
The vast majority of our violent crimes in the Denver metro area, including Aurora, are committed by gang members. In this city alone, we have about 2,000.
Denver police say they have a similar number of members, though gang crime isn't as prevalent, DPD says.
Tattoos do you have?
Rossi and his team spend a lot of time talking with suspected gang members.
I think there's a misconception that people don't cooperate with the police a lot, especially gang members, but they do. High five, man.
They want early intel on brewing gang disagreements that could spark a violent spree. And as we watched,
Hey, relax.
we couldn't help but note just how friendly everyone was with each other.
Here's my card, okay? If you ever need anything or whatever, give me a buzz. A lot of our gangs here originated in Los Angeles, and then some of the members moved out here and just grew the gang here.
Coming back westbound on airport now.
Members can commit all kinds of crimes, Rossi says. They tracked this stolen car tied to gang activity one evening, and it didn't end the way officers wanted.
We'll see if he comes to stop.
It looked like he was going to stop when officers turned on their lights, but then he took off. The need for safety on a busy freeway took over, and officers had to let him get away.
He's taking off number 3 lane.
But an hour after the sun went down that same night, officers had their sights on this vehicle that didn't obey the law.
Oh, yeah, this is a good stop.
The passenger escaped, bailing out the car and dropping this during his getaway.
Hands on your face, do not move.
The driver turned out to be a man wanted for attempted murder. Denver police say that Brandon Bennison shot a man twice in the stomach last year, then threatened to shoot him in the head before he ran away.
Come back here with me.
He's been on the run the better part of 6 months until tonight. Now he's facing a judge.
This here is a wall of bandanas and hats.
Gang officers David Zimmerman and Chris Ellis say spotting gang members takes more than just looking at colors.
We'll see a lot of the Colorado Rocky signs. People have tattooed on them. And if they don't know any baseball players or anything about baseball, a lot of times that's associated with Crips as well, the CR.
Gangs here in Colorado are less territorial than on the West Coast, the team says.
They're feuding sets even, but yet they still reside next to one another.
One thing that's still constant, brutal initiations similar to this that sometimes get posted online. These are called beat-ins, and new members get physically beaten by others.
Part of the initiation process of being jumped in, physically assaulted, is to see what a member's made of.
Initiations also can involve harming people in other ways.
It's not necessarily always just shooting somebody or killing somebody per se. It could be committing a robbery or committing a burglary and then taking the proceeds from that burglary and giving it back to the gang.
Detective Chris Barchetti says the trend over the last year, parties posted on social media where everyone somehow gets invited.
We've seen a lot of random shootings that have occurred between gang members from rival gangs at parties.
Gang officers try to educate the young kids in our area about the ramifications of joining a gang. But this detective agrees that the signs in most neighborhoods prove that gangs are nearly everywhere.
I'd say one of the major things is graffiti that they can see in the alleyways or up on buildings.
Crossed out graffiti, he says, is a sign that 2 gangs are there. One gang is trying to show disrespect by crossing out another gang's work. More signs that this team still has a lot more work to do. In Aurora, Jace Larson, Denver 7.